Hey fellow comrades, it's Gordon Sheepshanks, he, him, back again and coming at you from Wurundjeri land. So, like I mentioned last time, I'm running in the next federal election as a member of the Victorian Socialists. But did you know that we've got many fantastic socialist candidates running this month in local council elections? Local council is where socialists can make real change. People think councils should be focusing on waste collection and roads, but those are minor concerns, and if elected, our candidates will be focusing on abolishing Australia Day, fighting the climate emergency, installing LGBTQI and trans flags on all town halls and council buildings, creating more taxes which will enable the council staff to work on their own individually preferred social justice related projects, and of course demanding an end to war, which is totally within the authority granted to a local council. Here are just some of the comrades bravely fighting to be your next council representative. Edward Plowman is a music teacher, a community organiser, and is passionate about LGBTQI rights and being an anti-racist. Catherine Robertson is completing a teaching degree. She's against racism, and I'm glad Catherine makes that clear to the voters. If someone doesn't specifically state that they're an anti-racist, then you must assume that they're a member of the KKK. Cameron here is also a teacher and has been community organising for 20 years. Belle Gibson works at a school and she's been very active in fighting racism, and she likes same-sex stuff. Another great candidate we've got is Paul Hollingworth. I know Paul well. After many years of doing it tough as a student, Paul has recently graduated as a kindergarten teacher. Huge congratulations, Paul. You can go get those kids now. It's fantastic that so many of our candidates have access to children. This allows children to get the right ideological development from our comrades rather than from their parents. Brendan Laws is a teacher and community organiser for over 20 years, and he's vocal in his anti-racism stance. He fled his country of birth, the USA, due to the election of the oppressive tyrant Donald Trump. Liz Walsh is another teacher, and she's a lifelong community organiser. Now, just hold on, girls, guys and non-binaries. I know what you're all thinking. They're all teachers, but I'm sure there are some in here who aren't teachers and community organisers. Okay, so I found Sarafina Afaj, who's an aspiring librarian and a teacher's aide. She stands for economic justice, environmental sustainability, social equity and democratic participation, which of course are the key focus areas of a local council. And she's against all things like homophobia and racism. Courtney Millett, another high school teacher, community organiser and activist. Heather Maltby, who's a maths tutor and is very big on racism and climate campaigns. Okay, so I did some more research to find some who aren't teachers, because we do have such a variety of people running as socialists. We've got at least 12 current students putting their hands up to represent the Victorian Socialists at this election. And to be honest, the student is the perfect candidate for a local council. Politicians should be taking more guidance from the youth. The younger the better. We tried to put forward some 8-year-olds for nomination, but the fascist council administration forbid it. Now, I should give a special mention to Vivian. Vivian worked tirelessly as a student organiser at La Trobe University, and he even personally chased Nazis out of Melbourne. It's quite an astounding feat from the young man, and I can assure you the Nazis were terrified of him. Of course, many of our candidates are proudly unemployed. Those who don't have a job listed on their bios are often full-time community organisers, and that's funded by donations from everyday workers like yourself via the Centrelink redistribution system. Adam Slater is on the front lines as a mental health social worker and has been community organising for years. Brad is also a mental health worker and also a community organiser. Susan Miller works for the Australian Education Union And this really shows the range of workers we have in the Victorian Socialist Party. Lauren Stevenson is a public servant and does a really important job within the public service. You really couldn't live without Lauren's skills, and that's exactly why she should be elected to her local council. Joshua is an admin officer at a university, and Amarin a receptionist. I hope that gives you an insight into the assortment of candidates the Victorian Socialists are endorsing for this month's local council elections. We really hope we can secure your vote. Until next time, I'm Gordon Sheepshanks, he, him. Workers of the world unite!